to. I'm always up front here at Amy's with my cameras. And I'm here today with my friend. I'm going to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Greg. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hi. I know Jen.
We want to thank everyone for coming, and we want to thank Amy's Place for hosting.
Yay!
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy's.
Okay, we're gonna get right into it. For those who don't know, who is Propagandhi and why do they matter?
Okay, so my name's Greg, and I host a podcast called Unscripted Moments, a podcast about Propagandhi. They are a thrash metal punk band that started 40 years ago, almost 39 years ago, in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba. And they are based in Winnipeg, Manitoba now. They have 8 full-length records out from Fat Records, Epitaph Records, Recess Records, G7 Welcoming Committee. And for the last 5 years, I've been interviewing members of the band, their managers, their record labels, their touring partners, friends of the band, family members of the band, and posting it as a podcast. And yeah, I'm here today to talk about that project.
Okay. Propagandhi is on the screen behind us right now.
1996 in Kansas City. Legendary set right there.
May 20th, 1996.
I'm from Missouri too, so it's kind of like sweet. Yeah.
The Daily Grind is the venue. Okay, what is Unscripted Moments?
It's a podcast turned book where for the last 5 years, like I said, I've been interviewing members of the band and fans and talking about their song in a Song Exploder style podcast where we do one episode for every single song in the catalog. And we recently finished the original 1989 to 2024 discography on all of their records up until 2025's At Peace LP, which came out in May. And in the last 5 years, I've interviewed members of the band more than 20 times. John K. Sampson from the Weaker Thans that you all may have heard of was an original member of Propagandhi. But then Chris Hanna, George Samoleski, Chris Hanna, Todd Kowalski, Stu Lindhago, and David Gillis. And I transcribed all of the interviews that I've done with the band into a readable, condensed format for text. Solicited photographs of the band live from the last couple of decades for a book, and it came out what is today? The 20th? What's the date? The 20th. It came out 8 days ago on Earth Island Books, which is a publisher in the UK that publishes books about punk and hardcore and metal. A recent other book they're promoting is Charlie Harper from the UK Subs wrote an autobiography. So my book and Charlie Harper from the UK Subs book came out on the same day, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Okay, I think you answered this question though. What is the collection of interviews you've collected into a book?
It's kind of an interesting thing because whenever you think about a band like Propagandhi, they're very political. People might know them from their anti-fascist, animal-friendly, gay-positive stances that they've had over the years. They are one of the most notorious and outspoken animal rights bands in punk, aside from probably Earth Crisis, which many of you know from the Firestorm LP. Propagandhi is kind of on more of the punk side, so they had the vegan, anti-fascist, punk rock side kind of nailed down. And so they are very well known for their political stances over the years and the causes that they've championed. And this book is kind of interesting because it doesn't really include a ton of that because those things are so well documented. Instead, I interviewed their singer about doing ayahuasca ceremonies. I talked to their guitar player about his home business of building guitars. I talked to John K. Sampson from the Weaker Thans about his work of being a teacher in a prison just outside of Winnipeg. So it's a lot of very candid and personal stories of members of the band that kind of fly under the radar of their well-known political activist stances and kind of capture them a little bit more as people in general. So that's kind of what I think sets this collection apart from other things that you can find of them published in the past, where they're talking about tons of animal rights organizations or Partners in Health or Haiti relief after the earthquakes and things like that. So it's kind of a different style of collection, which gets more at their lives as just regular old people also.
All right. Why did you edit something available for free in podcast form?
Yes. So I started this thing during the pandemic, like so many other people did. I am a white male of a certain demographic who got into podcasting. I mean, it's like the most cliche thing of all time. But I just love the band so much, and I just needed something to do, and I was also going through a divorce at the time, and so it was a pandemic, divorce, coping project talking about my favorite art of all time. And so it just kind of took off from there, and all of the interviews in the book are freely available online. I made playlists on Spotify and Apple of all of the interviews of the bands that people can listen to for free. And for the ultra hardcore fans of the band who need something very niche, I thought that the 2020 to 2025, so it's pandemic up through the release of their new record, I thought that was a very interesting snapshot in time where the band was off the road, being very pondering about their lives in general, and contemplating their future as a band. I thought that was a very interesting 5 years, and when the new record came out, I talked to the band one last time for the closing chapters of the book, and so it's like the beginning of the pandemic through the release of a new record, and I just thought that it was kind of an interesting little snapshot of a weird time in society's existence in general.
Great. Okay, why don't you show everybody the book?
Yeah.
Since it's sitting here on the table next to
It is a beastly tome. It is like 350-something pages, color photographs, inside collages. A lot of the photos were taken by a name that many of you will recognize, Mark Miller from the band Holdout here in Buffalo. Photographs so many great shows across the Buffalo, Niagara, Toronto regions in the last couple of decades. And Mark got in touch and he's like, I have tons of pictures of Propagandhi from 1996, 2001, and 2006 sitting on a hard drive. So Mark took the pictures that are included in the book in there. So I thought that was kind of a neat another little additional Buffalo layer for the book in general. Yeah.
Excellent. And there's a companion piece,
Yeah.
a compilation album?
Yes. In the last couple of years, there's been over 80 covers that listeners of the podcast have covered of Propagandhi's music and submitted to be on episodes of the podcast. And we put out a double album compilation with 32 of the covers that have appeared on the podcast. And since Propagandhi is celebrating their 40th anniversary as a band, we called it How to Take a Couple of Victory Laps, celebrating 40 years of Propagandhi.
Okay. Let's get capitalist about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
How much is the book?
So,
And the CD?
The book, if anybody wants to buy one, I will sell you one. I'll sign it if you want to. It's $20. I'm donating the proceeds to Doctors Without Borders and to Rainbow Resource Center, which is an LGBTQ kids activist group in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is the band's hometown. I love Doctors Without Borders, and so the book retails for $35 if you buy it online, which is insane to me. And yeah, I know. And when I say this is a niche project, I mean this book has sold 130 copies on the entire planet. So we are talking the nichest of the niche here. But if anybody wants a copy, I have to recoup the expenses that the publisher fronted for the book. So I am selling it for $20 tonight. So if you want one, I'll sell you one, and I'm going to donate some of the proceeds to some groups that I dig, because I like what Dr. Without Borders is doing in Gaza. I like what they're doing in Sudan. So I'm just trying to do a little bit of good there where I can.
Okay. Real quick to wrap up, does anybody in the audience have any questions? You have to come up and ask on the mic.
If you want to, you can. You don't have to. But
if not, I have a couple follow-ups.
Nice.
Nobody? Nobody? All right.
This is kind of an interesting opening act. I hope that you guys are like, you're seeing a book release party for an opening for my favorite local band, Del Paxton. My favorite local band.
Okay, we can probably run through these pretty quick.
Yeah.
Favorite Propagandhi song?
It's Supporting Cast from the Supporting Cast LP from 2009, track 2 on their 2009 LP. It's my favorite Propagandhi song ever.
All right. Do you have a favorite interview?
My favorite interview of the band? Definitely the one where I interviewed their most well-known lead singer, Chris Hanna, about his ayahuasca experiences, which kind of kicked off the entire podcast project itself.
All right, and kind of related to that, was there anything exciting or shocking that you learned, or something that changed your thinking about the band?
Oh man, that's such a hard question to be put on the spot about, because this band has caused me to change my mind about many things in the world. Like, they were my first exposure to any political idea ever. I was a complete moron for forever, my whole life. I still am in a lot of ways, but I have a lot to be grateful to this band for all of the different academic literature and a lot of the authors that they've exposed me to just by citing in their work. My favorite thing that they probably ever did, though, was they were sort of an introduction to feminism and the ways that not knowing about feminism as a man harms men and actually holds us back from accomplishing our full potential as human beings with the other half of the population that lives in this world. So I would say that definitely being introduced to, as an entryway, they have a song called Refusing to Be a Man, which cites a book title by John Stoltenberg, a pretty popular second-wave feminist who happens to be a guy, which is fascinating in and of itself. But that was a really great, they've introduced me to so much that I just thought a lot to be grateful for.
Okay, and Buffalo-related question, just rattle off a couple of your favorite Buffalo bands.
Favorite Buffalo bands, like I already said, Del Pax and Numero Uno. But we also have Selfish Act, who got their shirt today, so got some Selfish Act here. Jewel Tone, amazing. Kill Uncle, I've got to say, Spaced, obviously. Snapcase, Legends. Who else am I thinking of here? Holdout, love Holdout. Just saw the Goo Goo Dolls. I took my 12-year-old daughter to see the Goo Goo Dolls, so they count. But lots. We have an amazing music scene here in town. We're super lucky. And but yeah, Jewel Tone and Del Paxton, Selfish Act, those are a couple of my faves. Oh, Gato Black and Bell Trials also.
All right, I think that's going to wrap us up.
Awesome.
Thanks to everybody for coming. The merch is in the back of the room. There's the books, the compilation album. The bands all have merch. So come say hi between sets. We're going to take 10-ish minute break, and then Milo's going to play.
And I have free CD, or not free CD, I have free buttons, free posters, and free stickers. So help yourself. They're at the back table. Just grab one if you want. Thanks.
Yay!